It's 3 p.m. and your motivation to do literally anything has evaporated. You feel tired, you can't focus, and the idea of starting any of the tasks on your to-do list is just mentally exhausting. In other words, you've hit the afternoon slump. And you're not alone. Millions of people around the world hit this wave of tiredness during the early afternoons every single day, which is actually a problem for me because people who are tired tend not to watch YouTube videos for quite as long. So let me help you out real quick. Is this in frame? Is this helping? Are you awake? Okay, hopefully that helped at least somewhat. Let's get back to the video. So like I just said, this is something that happens to millions of people. If you get tired in the afternoon, if you feel like you should be going to bed, but for some reason the sun's still out, well, that is an absolutely common experience. So what I want to do today is share a 3-step process that you can go through whenever you find yourself in an afternoon slump or battling that afternoon brain fog. Going through these things can help you gain back at least some of your energy to tackle the rest of your to-do list before you end the day. But before we get into that, we do want to answer the question of why does this happen in the first place? Because there are definitely some controllable factors that contribute to the afternoon slump, but part of it is actually natural. Part of it is due to something called our circadian rhythm, which is essentially this internal clock that helps to keep our body's internal processes synchronized with the day and night cycle, which helps us go to sleep at the right times. And in doing some research for this video, I found out that there are actually 2 parts of the day where we actually have a dip in energy. So according to the Sleep Foundation's website, for most adults, the biggest dip in energy happens during the middle of the night between 2 and 4 a.m., which is the time where most people are just fast asleep, snoozing away like a rock. Actually, rocks don't snooze. But there is another dip in energy just after lunchtime around 1 to 3 p.m. when they start to crave that post-lunch nap. But another website that I looked at, Science Daily, said this: in the strict sense, circadian rhythms are endogenously generated. And I'll throw the definition for endogenously, and I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I didn't know what it meant when I was doing this research, so I'll put it there. Although they can be modulated by external cues such as sunlight and temperature. And keep that in mind for later on in the video, because what this is saying is that circadian rhythms are for the most part internally set and you can't do a whole lot to control them, but some things do affect them. And with that, let's go over to step 1 in the process, which is to refuel. Your body is essentially an engine, and what you put into it, the quality of what you put into it, and the time at which you fuel it, these all factor into how energetic you're going to feel at all different times of the day. So in the afternoons, when I start feeling tired, this is the first thing that I think to do. I want to get something to eat, get something to drink, and usually the first thing that I reach for is either a glass of water or like a can of sparkling water. I think this is the Michael Bublé kind. That's how you pronounce it, right? Bublé. And I actually like sparkling water a little more than regular water because when I was in college, I was super addicted to energy drinks, and I kind of identified the reason for that. It wasn't necessarily the caffeine, it wasn't necessarily the taste. It was actually the fact that the energy drink and the colorful can and everything and the carbonation were sort of novel. It kind of injected a little bit of excitement into an otherwise boring afternoon study session. And it was actually the power of habit that helped me to differentiate these different reasons for my cravings for terrible, unhealthy energy drinks, because there was a part in the book where he was talking about this afternoon habit that he had to get a cookie every single day. And he started asking himself, like, what is the reward I get for getting this cookie? Is it the taste? Is it the energy boost? And he actually came to the conclusion that no, it's just this ritual that allows me to get it from my desk, and then it gives me an opportunity to socialize with some of my coworkers. So he just changed his habit up to go to the water cooler or something like that so he could still talk to the coworkers. So reading that actually helped me to identify the factors that cause my craving for those terrible, unhealthy energy drinks: the taste, the caffeine levels, and also the novelty factor. And then I realized that sparkling water, especially flavored sparkling water like this, fills 2 of those 3 categories. And if I want caffeine, I can obviously go for tea or coffee. And I do want to talk about that as well, because tea and coffee can be useful in the afternoons, but you need to understand how your body reacts to caffeine later in the day. There are studies out there to show that caffeine even 6 hours before bedtime can significantly impact the quality of your sleep in a negative way, but everyone's mileage may vary. So some people may be able to have a cup of coffee at 4 in the afternoon, while other people, if they have caffeine at any time of the day that has a PM in it, they're not going to be able to go to sleep. So again, do some testing if you want to use caffeine in the afternoons. And you can also pair it with a light snack. And if you're going to go for a snack, the main thing here is don't just reach for simple sugars. Don't go for like candy or soda especially, but also if you're just going for fruit, you're just taking in simple sugars, this causes a spike in your blood sugar with a subsequent crash. So you want to pair that with some complex carbohydrates, maybe some whole wheat bread, or maybe some proteins like a hard-boiled egg. In fact, my best friend Martin, who helped me write the script for this video, listed that you should put a hard-boiled egg inside of a banana, which I sat there and thought about for a second, and I just still can't envision how you do it. But if any of you out there know what he means, like put it in the comments below, because I'm kind of stumped here. Anyway, step 2 in the process is to reset. This means step away from your desk and take a break from your work. Now, for me, the ultimate way of resetting is to go outside. If you'll remember earlier in the video, I talked about how the circadian rhythm is, for the most part, endogenously, I think that's how you pronounce it, but endogenously generated or controlled, but that there are some factors that you can use to influence it, one of them being sunlight exposure. So this is kind of my main thing. Whenever I feel tired in the afternoons, I am reaching for a glass of water, maybe making some coffee depending on the time. But the next thing is I'm going outside for a walk, or I'm going to take a break to go for a workout, or I'm going to go outside and do some skateboarding or rollerblading. But whatever it is, I want to get outside and get some sunlight exposure, because exposure to light, especially sunlight, can be a cue to wake your body up. Sunlight is actually one of those external factors that really plays a part in how your circadian rhythm is governed. And if for some reason you just can't go outside, or you just don't want to exercise, you're trying to be as sloth-like as possible, you just get into that Zen state of mind, at least let yourself step back from your work and take a little bit of a break to give yourself some intentional fun time. Play a video game. But one word of warning here, if one quick game of Overwatch or one quick game of Magic or whatever game that you tend to get sucked into often turns into just a quick several hours, then that's probably not a good way to take a break. You want to get into something that is not going to suck you in, not going to distract you for a really long period of time, that just kind of provides some mental rejuvenation. One other option could be to take a nap. Now, I did a whole video on naps about a year ago, and for me, naps aren't the most effective thing. I find that even if I do the 20-minute power nap where you're not supposed to fall asleep, not supposed to get groggy, I find myself slipping into a deeper sleep and wanting to sleep for 2 or 3 hours. So it's kind of a big time waster for me. But again, your mileage may vary, and a lot of people get use out of naps in the early or late afternoon. In fact, that's why a lot of countries have a siesta culture. That brings us to step 3, which is to refocus. It is time to get yourself back to work. And focus is the key word here. I find that when I hit the afternoon slump, I often have several tasks still left on my plate, and my brain will sort of just glide over them and kind of listlessly try to get into each one, but I kind of know there's a bunch of them, and that makes it really hard to get into any one thing. And this is where a bit of philosophy comes in for me, because a lot of people, when they talk about the afternoon slump, they are talking about the nutrition aspect of it, the sleep aspect of it, the circadian rhythm aspect of it. But I think that the level of interest you have in your work and how focused you are on it actually plays a big role in how energized you feel. If you're feeling kind of listless, if you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing, or you don't care about it, you're gonna feel tired. Because the brain and the body, they have a two-way connection, right? Your body's circadian rhythm, your nutrition, all these factors play a role in how motivated you feel mentally, but it goes the other way as well. Your level of interest in your work, how focused you are, this plays a role in how energized and awake you feel physically. So if you can find a way, either intrinsically or extrinsically, to get more interested in a single task that you want to do, then you're gonna feel a little bit more energized while doing it. So here is how I propose that you externally motivate yourself. First, pick one task that you have to do. You can't let your brain just listlessly glide over everything. It's got to focus in on one thing. Secondly, clear your environment and get it ready for work. So clear off your desk, close any open programs that don't need to be open, close any open browser tabs, and then maybe get some good study music for getting into the work zone. Finally, set a timer for 25 minutes and do a Pomodoro session on the task. I find that the Pomodoro technique, where you set a timer for 25 minutes and you focus on one task during the 25 minutes with absolutely no distractions or anything else coming into your field of view or focus, this is actually much more useful for me in the afternoons than it is in the mornings. And this kind of makes sense. In the mornings, I'm more mentally aware, I'm more awake, I'm more easily able to focus on my work intrinsically. In the afternoons, I'm feeling tired, I might need that a little bit of external motivation, and the Pomodoro technique really provides that. So from personal experience, I know that the 3 steps in this process, refuel, reset, and then refocus, these are very effective for getting past that afternoon slump. But if it's not enough for you, there are some longer term fixes that you can use as well. And the main one that I want to mention here is changing up your schedule if you have the freedom to do so. Like I talked about in my previous video, which is all about my new morning routine, I mentioned that I moved my workouts from the mornings to the early afternoons or late afternoons, and this had a lot of benefits. Number one, it freed up more time in the mornings, which were better hours for me to work anyway, but it also means that when the afternoon slump hits, I can just go to the gym, and I often find myself being more energized when I leave the gym because I'm getting some exercise, and that helps me get through that tired spell. So if you can, do some experiments and play around with your schedule. Hopefully that, in combination with the 3 steps I shared here, will help you to be more productive during your actual work hours and beat that afternoon slump, which will help you earn back some more guilt-free evenings that you could use spending with friends, or playing Hollow Knight for the 3rd time, or working on some personal projects that you don't have time to do during the actual work hours in the mornings and afternoons. And one personal project that you should probably consider taking on, if you haven't done so already, is building a professional online presence. If you want to stand out from the competition and get competitive jobs, or you want to build connections in your industry and establish yourself as an expert, building a website for yourself where you can show off your portfolio and tell people how to contact you is a great first step. And the first step to doing that is securing your professional domain name, like mine, which is thomasfrank.com. And if you'll notice, I had to put a J in my URL because I was not able to get thomasfrank.com since someone else got it far before I was ever even on the internet. And that's the thing about domain names. Someone else could get yours before you get the chance to get it, and if they don't let it relinquish, then you're kind of out of luck. So get your professional domain name before someone else grabs it, and to get it, you should go over to hover.com. Hover is the best place on the internet to get your hands on domain names, not least of which because they have the most streamlined, hassle-free checkout process that I have ever seen. There are no upsells, no annoying pop-ups. You just pick the domain you want and you buy it. And they have over 400 extensions as well, so you can get your .coms, your .me's, your .cos, which I think are really good for a professional presence, but they also have lots of other fun ones like .limo, .ninja, and .lol. Plus, once you have your domain, they have some very useful tools for connecting it to other useful web services, like an email tool, so you can get a professional looking email like mine, which is thomas@collegeinfogeek.com, a little more professional than a Gmail. And they also have a connect feature, which can help you connect your domain to website builders like Squarespace and Shopify. And the best part is, if you go over to hover.com/thomasfrank and buy your domain through that link, you're gonna get 10% off of your first purchase and help to support my channel. Big thanks to Hover, as always, for sponsoring this video, and thank you as well for watching. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you have any other tips for beating the afternoon slump, or you know how to fit a hard-boiled egg into a banana, please share what you know in the comments below, because, well, I really don't know how to do that, and also your tips definitely help out other people who are scrolling down there looking for additional information. If you want to subscribe to this channel, you can do so right there to get new videos when they come out. You can also click right there to get a free copy of my book on how to earn better grades, or check out a couple of more videos right here and here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.